Bonjour and welcome to this lesson on subject pronouns in French. So what I mean by subject pronouns is how to say I, you, two ways to say you, he, she, it, we, and they in French. Okay, so if you want to say I, then you just say je. And that's always going to be a subject pronoun. So in French, you're never going to have the situation, like in English when you say Jennifer and I went shopping. You're not going to use je in that kind of situation. You'll use moi. So anytime you want to do that, you don't have to distinguish between I and me like we do in English. You just say moi. So je is really just to replace the subject I. Okay, the next one is tu. So tu means you, but remember that tu is only going to be used in a singular sense. So you only use it with one person, and that person you're using it with has to be someone that you're really familiar with. Okay, so tu can be used with people like your family and your friends and other people that you're very familiar with. All right, now the next one is il. Il means he and elle means she. But they can also mean other things. So many people will tell you, well, it doesn't exist in French. Well, that's true, but to an English brain, we have to know how to say it because we use it all the time in English. So basically, if you have a person like John, you want to replace that person, John, with a subject pronoun, you use il, okay? So that's he. But what if you have a noun that is masculine and singular? For example, how about this? Le stylo. Le stylo. So it's masculine, it's singular. If we want to say that this pen is on the table, then we say il est sur la table. Il. So il can mean either he or it. If we talk about elle, so elle means she, Jennifer. Jennifer va faire du shopping. She is going to go shopping. Elle va faire du shopping. But remember that if you have a feminine and singular noun, for example, how about this? La bougie. La bougie, une bougie. So a candle is feminine. And I want to say that the candle is on the table. Elle est sur la table. So I have the pen. Il est sur la table. It is on the table. And the candle. Elle est sur la table. It is on the table. Now, also in the third person singular, you have the subject pronoun on. So on can be confusing to a lot of people. It's always conjugated the singular way. So if you want to say on est, est, it's conjugated like il est and elle est. But what does on est mean? It has a few different meanings. So on, most of the time when it's used in France, in French rather, and you're just speaking on an informal basis, on means we, which can be very confusing because on is singular after all, isn't it? But think about it. Maybe you've learned on y va, let's go. It's plural, okay? So on can mean we, and most often does mean we. On can also mean one in that real general sense. For example, if one is hungry, one eats. Si on a faim, on mange. And we don't talk like that too much in English. Not that much in French either, but that's one of the meanings for the pronoun on. Now, on can mean something else as well. You know how in English when we say something like, well, they say you shouldn't go outside with a wet head. You might get a cold. Well, we sometimes say, well, who are they anyway? They are on in French. Okay, so voila, there's your three meanings of the subject pronoun on. So we've covered the singular side, je, tu, il, elle, and on. And now we move over to the plural side of the conjugation chart. All right, at the very top, so first person plural, we have nous. Nous always means we. And remember, I told you that on also means we. If you are more comfortable using nous as we, because you're a beginner in French and you're just trying to sort all of this out, that's fine. You can use nous to mean we. Everybody will understand you, and it's very good French. So don't have any concern about using nous to mean we when you hear all kinds of people saying, oh, nobody in France says nous, everybody says on. You can say nous, everybody understands you. And you know what? Plenty of people do say nous. The most important thing is to remember when you hear on, it probably means we and not one. All right? So that's nous, always plural, always means we. The next one is vous. So we already said that tu means you. Well, the second person plural subject pronoun is vous. So vous can be either singular or plural. If it's singular, not like tu, if it's singular, it's going to be more formal. So rather than using it with friends and family and people you're really familiar with, you're going to use vous with people you're less familiar with or more on a formal basis. Okay, teachers, doctors, friends of parents, things like that. D'accord. The next one is il, I-L-S, and notice I don't pronounce the S on that, even though it's plural. There is an S, you don't pronounce it. So il means they. Il can mean they, like John and Jason, right? Ils vont faire du shopping. They are going to go shopping. Or, remember, just like il singular can mean it, le stylo, il. If I had two pens, which I do, okay, here I have two, they're both masculine. I'm going to say ils. Les stylos sont sur la table. Ils sont sur la table. D'accord? And if I have two candles, remember, une bougie is feminine. If I had two of them, which I don't, I would say elles sont sur la table. So they are on the table. Elles, E-L-L-E-S, still don't pronounce the S, can also be used to replace two feminine noun subjects like people. Okay? Jennifer and Jill are going shopping. Jennifer et Gilles vont faire du shopping. Elles vont faire du shopping. Voila. So if you want to have a closer look at this and see everything written down, then just visit my blog. You can follow the link that's down in the description below. And I'm also creating a Quizlet study set to help you practice and master these subject pronouns. All you have to do is follow the link to my YouTube Quizlet study sets down in the description below, and I'll be happy to see you there. Merci beaucoup et à très bientôt. Au revoir.